Shall we begin?
Let's.
Okay.
Man, we are captaining the struggle bus today.
Hey, we've been off for a while.
I know. We got to get back to the swing of things.
I got my candle, but it's not on.
Oh my God. I was not even going to play with fire today.
No, I don't think it's a good idea. Not for me.
Also, I love how you said your candle's not on and not lit. I didn't catch that.
I couldn't think. I knew that wasn't the right word right when I was saying it, but I couldn't think of the right word, so I just let it go.
Some days words are hard.
I know.
And that's fine. That's fine.
It always happens on days when we're recording, too. So that's great.
True story.
Okay.
Ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, friends, and welcome to the Activity Continues podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Amy.
And I'm Megan. Here we discuss episodes of the TV show The Dead Files, along with other creepy shit.
This is our second season, and we're branching out a little bit, covering not just The Dead Files, but other TV shows, paranormal and otherwise. And we also talk about podcasts and other paranormal things, and we're also including listener stories.
This week, because it's our first episode of season 2, we are both going to be recapping the episode's files.
This is a blooper reel.
Okay. Scene. This week, because it's our first episode of season 2, we are both going to be recapping the Dead Files episode Damned in the Desert, which is season 12, episode 13. It originally aired 4/23/2022.
I think it was 2020. I don't know why I wrote it. That's my fault. I wrote it wrong. I think it's 2020.
Okay. That's what I thought too, but I was like, 22? Okay. It's time for the charm. I'm so sorry.
No, that's my fault. I wrote it wrong.
This week, because it's our first episode of season 2, we are both going to be recapping the Dead Files episode Damned in the Desert, which is season 12, episode 13, and originally aired 4/23/2020.
Yep. We chose this one because Kari, one of our listeners, suggested it in our group chat on Instagram. So, first of all, if you're interested in being in our group chat, come on over to Instagram. Follow us if you're not already, and then send me a message or, DM us, it's me, and ask to be added to the group chat, and we'll add you. And can you believe this is our 25th episode?
No.
I mean,
what? This is insane.
I mean, that includes, while we were off, and we released the trailer and the Boo Pod Network
represent,
sneak peek or whatever you want to call that. And then our hiatus episode, which was we didn't cover a show, but we chit-chatted a while. But yeah, so weird. So before we jump into the show, we want to go over a couple of things that are about the show. One being that the format, like we mentioned, is going to change a little bit.
So we're going to do one Dead Files episode per week, and we'll take turns presenting. So we kind of did it towards the end of season 1, where, if I do a show, then Amy will comment and vice versa. We just figured it's less busy that way.
Well, they got to be so long.
Yeah.
Because, the show is an hour.
Yeah.
And then we're recapping it. That's an hour. And then the other person recaps another hour, and then we chit chat like shit. So it got to be real
too
long.
much. It was, yeah.
I mean, they're still over an hour, even when we're just to cover one episode. So,
And she
yeah.
cuts a lot of shit. So,
I do cut a lot.
hey,
So
cut it out.
great. Anytime we can use that. I've got the GIF stored in my folder so that I can throw it into the video anytime.
You need to, because that's a classic.
It's a good one. So we're also going to do just one promo partner per week. And we're going to talk about the show, the podcast that we are partnering with. Not just play the trailer. We're chat about it a little too. So,
And then once per month, we'll cover a different show, like Holzer Files, Ghost Hunters.
yeah.
Something other than the Dead Files, just to keep you guys on your toes.
Yeah. And to maybe introduce you to shows you haven't seen before or whatever. So if there is another show, preferably on Discovery, because I don't like watching commercials.
And Hulu doesn't work for us.
Oh,
it's
Hulu's
really glitchy.
Hulu's been really bad this last week. Really bad.
It's been like the last year and a half.
Oh,
we just watched that movie, The Princess. Terrible, by the way. And it buffered 5 different times.
Yeah, it's really messed up. I was watching that show called Maggie about the psychic. Oh my God, that show's so cute. I blew through the whole thing in 3 days.
I really want to start it.
It was so good. But when I was watching, it's really cute. All the people are good. The writing is really fun and funny and smart, right. So it's
like me.
Yeah, exactly.
And you, like us.
Yes, of course. But I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. It's really, really cute. But so I was watching that and I turned it on, and you know how in the upper corner it says that there's an ad?
Mm-hmm.
So it starts counting down that there's an ad, but it's not an ad. I'm watching the show. There's not an ad playing. And then the captions are all from after the commercial break. So what I'm listening to is not what they're saying. I restarted it. I restarted my Roku. I finally said, fuck this, and I watched something different, and I went back to it the next day, and it was better. But I don't know. It got really
I don't know what's going on with Hulu, but if the execs are listening to this, which obviously fucking get shit together.
Right. It's getting...
Because it's a fucking mess.
Pretty annoying. Yep.
We literally upgraded our internet because we thought it was our internet.
Yeah.
It was Hulu.
Yeah.
Our phones can't be connected to the internet if we're trying to watch Hulu.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not good.
I haven't tried turning that off. Maybe I should.
You should. Yeah.
So turn off Wi-Fi?
On your phone.
My phone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try that.
And then if you have any suggestions for shows, please let us know. Obviously, we're not omnipotent. We don't know all the shows. So please send it to us. And we'll be more than happy to watch them and talk about them.
Yep. And also episodes of Dead Files that you like.
Yeah.
This one is a recommendation from one of our listeners. So we want to do what you guys want to do, what you want to hear. So yeah. And then I want to give a shout out to Greg, the non-believer. Skeptic Greg. He allowed us to pay for our mailbox with our family money as opposed to podcast money.
Yeah,
because there isn't any podcast money anymore. No, when I had a client and I was doing some work, I had banked up a bunch of, not a lot, but like $300. And so I was able to pay for the mailbox and then pay for Canva and Discovery and things like that. But there's $12 in there now. So I couldn't renew the mailbox. Yeah. So we do have our mailbox, which our address will be in the show notes. I don't want to say it because if for some reason the address changes, if we end up getting a different mailbox or something.
We get famous.
Yeah. So check the show notes for the address. If you want to send us something, send us a card, send us a sticker, send us some stuff.
Please don't send us anything mean though.
No.
Glitter bombs.
Yeah.
Please.
No. And then our partner, this
Haunted Her Hoax, had the coolest episode. And they took kind of a break from their original and they talked about ghost hunting and ghost busting equipment.
Mhm.
So please go check that out because it was so cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool episode. They interviewed a guy named I wrote it down.
Okay, good.
Noah Lee. And he is the founder of Paranormal Investigators of Milwaukee, aka PIM. PIM. And so I guess when they interview people, the show is called Poltergeists.
Get it?
Yeah. So they talked about the tools that they use in ghost busting. And what I thought was interesting is they said that the ovulus is basically hooey. That this Noah guy had talked to the guy who created it and explained how what the thing is there's two poles, he said, like inside.
One that like you hold and it looks like it's coming out, kind of like a uterus.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
It lights up.
Yeah, I think that's the one. And it checks electromagnetic field and temperature. Yeah. And then they connect somehow. And so by some magic, words come out. And they were like, yeah, it's fine for fun, but it's not scientific. Like, it's not. And then, you know, how we were talking about, not the rest of you don't know, Megan and I, we were talking about how we wonder how, you know, that ghost hunter that we don't like to say his name.
Because he gets really butthurt.
Because he gets real butthurt. Well, and Megan said to me, do you think other ghost hunters, how do you think they feel about him? I'm like, I think they feel about him the same way that we do.
Yeah.
And then they mentioned him in this episode.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. And she was like, even ghosts know his name.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then at the end, when they were wrapping up, they were like, well, thanks for talking to us about all these paranormal tools, including blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh my God. It was funny.
That was good.
That was funny.
Yeah.
He's a tool.
The worst. He's just so disrespectful.
I know.
That's the thing.
Well, and that's like I had asked you to watch, I guess I suggested that you watch Kindred Spirits with Amy Bruni and
which I've seen the one episode with Chip Coffee, but it was very good.
Yeah, they're very respectful. That's like their whole thing is that they don't like to go in there and antagonize and, you know, they're always very kind. And so I think that's nice and refreshing.
Yeah, I agree.
So I noticed today that we were at 699 people following us on Instagram. And so I checked shortly before we came on and we're at 702.
Heck yeah.
And then we are at 3,200 downloads.
Which is amazing.
That's pretty good. I mean,
talk to everybody.
It's not like a huge
episode.
Yeah.
Hey, don't diminish it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that one day this will be cute. You know, we'll be like, oh, look how cute they were. And they thought that 3,200 was a big deal.
Like, that's what we get in a week.
Yeah.
That's 128 episodes or downloads per episode on average.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I just did that in my head and did not need the calculator on my computer to do that.
Not at all.
Nope.
That clacking was something else.
It was my nail. Yeah.
Oh.
Not the computer.
Gotcha. So, yeah, we... right now there's a merch sale going on, but it's not, it won't still be going on by the time this airs, but I mentioned it on all of our socials and we got a couple of sales. So
yeah, we did.
That's cool.
Including one for my friend Jenna.
Whoop, whoop.
She bought a t-shirt and she said she might buy another one in Diet Purple because it will be stained purple by all of the food she eats. Like the fruits.
She got a purple one.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, because I got the email and it said
it shows
posh purple or something like that.
Just shows how in depth I read my text messages. So sorry, Jenna.
Thanks, Jenna.
Thanks, Jenna.
And everybody else who bought stuff.
Yeah.
So I think the only content warning is that there's some child death in the history.
And then I did add another one.
Oh,
Because Mercedes does mention wanting to kill herself, but she
Right.
does mention suicide.
right.
So
Okay.
if those are difficult topics for you, completely understand. So just want to give everybody a heads up.
Yeah,
that
it's
they
not
talk
like a
about
lot.
this. No,
I mean, like
it's just
I
that-
forgot about it, so it's not that prominent, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna do this one together. So we'll just kind of toss back and forth what we thought of each section.
Mhm.
So I'll just start by saying again, it's called Damned in the Desert, season. Stir fry coming back.
Stir fry's kicking back on you.
It was so good, but it was really spicy. Damned in the Desert, season 12, episode 13 on Discovery Plus. I have no idea what it is on the Who to the Loo, because try not to watch that.
Hulu.
Oh, God, they're so annoying. Originally aired April 23rd, 2020, and was chosen because our fan/friend, Kari, suggested it.
Yes.
So shout out to Kari.
We have thoughts about this episode.
Yeah. And yeah, she did too.
Yeah.
'Cause she was like, I want you to do that one where the dad was really creepy. And I was like, wait a minute, that sounds familiar. She's like, they live in a tool shed. We'll get there. But yeah, I was like, oh, I remember that one. Yep. That one gave me the willies. So we are in Marana, Arizona. The client is Mercedes. And she has a husband, Joe. And then her son, Tristan, and his very odd father, named Mark, live in the cabin on the property.
And he's her former husband. So they were married, they got divorced, and now he lives in the cabin with her son, Tristan.
Right.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Yes. So the experiences are Mercedes says she feels something is trying to kill her husband. And in the intro, they show Amy saying, death is here. Yeah, death is really here. And that was creepy. Oh, yeah. Megan and I both of our notes are almost identical here.
They are. and honestly, towards the end of the episode, I just stopped writing because I'm like, you've said everything that I would say. So, that's why I stopped writing, because I would just be like repeating what you said. Yeah. So, Amy takes very detailed notes, and I'm more of a bullet pointer.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That makes sense. Sometimes I think of things that I'm afraid if I don't write it all the way out, that I'll read it later and go, what the fuck did I mean by that?
See, I do the opposite, and I think, yeah, I'll know what I meant. And then I get to it and I'm like, the fuck did I mean? Yeah. So, you think I'd learn at 37, but here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, I've got a few years on you, so give it time.
5.
Okay, so Amy sees a male who she said died because the sun killed him and the desert ate him. And he said he's surrounded by men, and when they jump and land on the ground opens up and he starts falling in.
And so then I said, she gets a male right away who died because the sun killed him. And, you think I would have read Amy's notes. Died because the sun killed him and the desert ate him. Surrounded by men, they jump and a hole opens up and the guy falls into it. So
that's pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah. So then we get to Steve, and he sits down with Mercedes, and
she's got a
lot.
Look. Yeah.
There's a lot going on with Mercedes. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Be you. Okay, do what you want to do, but she just couldn't decide on a thing, and so she did them all. I feel like she's got dreads in her hair, but then she's also woven pieces of cloth into her hair,
and almost like beads and stuff.
And then beads too. It's just it was like a lot. I couldn't. And then she's wearing pink lipstick with a red shiny coat.
She's very, very colorful.
She definitely does her own thing.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone that looks just like her. So she's very unique.
She is very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I wrote, Dave said, oh, something happened to her. I don't know what that's about.
Who's Dave?
I don't know. Oh, I know what it was. I know what it was. So my friend Dave was in town and he watched this with me. That's what it was. I forgot all about that.
So he's writing out thorough notes.
Still didn't help. Nope, still didn't help. Yeah, so this is when they showed Mercedes and he laughed and said, oh, something happened to her. That's what it was.
Yeah, okay. I was like, Dave, I don't know. Is there a Dave in the show?
Fuck's Dave?
Who the fuck's
No,
Dave?
That's
With
my
Steve.
That's my friend who was staying in town. He, Dave, I mentioned he asked like what I was doing, and I told him about the podcast. And I said, remember when you were in town last time and I made you watch that show, The Dead Files, with the medium and the cop and all that? And he goes, oh yeah, we're totally going to binge that all day tomorrow, right?
You were like, yes, we are.
Yes, we are. But first we have to watch this one. Yeah. So, anyway, so Mercedes says that her husband Joe's being taken over and he says really mean things to her. And then she explains the group dynamic. So that the fact that her husband, Mark, lives in the cabin. Ex-husband, Mark, lives in the cabin on the property with their son, Tristan. They've been there for about 5 months.
Because a tornado came through and destroyed Mark and Tristan's home.
Right. And Steve says, and this will be a sound clip I pop in, are you sure the marriage problems ain't because you got an ex-husband living there? You think it's paranormal? And she says, I know it's paranormal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she's feeling chronic fatigue, anxiety, nightmares. She feels like she's being watched. She's getting attacked. And he says, why don't, something like, why don't you just get the fuck out? And she says she wants to fight. And
I hate when they say
I
that.
know.
I don't know why. It just really pisses me off. Like,
I know.
I get it, but at the same time, some things you can't fight. How are you gonna, if this is like, something not just if it's not just a spirit, you can move on. How are you gonna fucking fight it?
Right.
That just irks me when they say that. I hate it when they say I'm gonna fight, but maybe I'm just a coward, like fucking cut tail and run.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I understand that you don't want to leave this property that you really like. There's no way in hell I would live where they do. No. It's far too isolated.
Yeah.
And I'm an introvert, but I need to have people.
Yeah.
Like within shouting distance anyway. But yeah, so then Steve asks what she really wants, and she says she wants them to save her marriage. And I was like, no pressure, Steve.
You know what else might work? Maybe counseling.
Get the ex load off the property.
Yeah, maybe move your fucking ex-husband off the property. That can't be good.
Oh. Yeah.
So, so she cried, and Steve tells her to take her time, and they're here now. Oh God, Steve.
That was really sweet.
Much. Steve, you're like a big Brooklyn teddy bear.
Yeah.
And I love you so much.
Yeah.
So she also said they see shadow figures. And she doesn't have any of her issues when they're not there, when she's not at the house. They're only there when they're there. They're talking, and she wrote, or she said, when Steve asked why they're there, to save her marriage, and then she goes, it's not that much to ask.
I know.
It kind of is.
It's kind of a lot.
Yeah. It's only your relationship. So
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Can't expect someone else to fix that necessarily.
No, you could expect outside help, but we go to Amy, and I really feel like they're amping the spook up with this one. Like, there's a lot of creaking doors.
Yep.
I mean, it's spooky enough, you guys. You're in the middle of the desert.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much spookier do you need to be?
Yeah. I noticed that too. I think that, well, it's a later one. It's from 2020.
Mhm.
So it's like we're on season 14 now, or we're finished with season 14 now. And this is season 12. So yeah. And I think
Playing into it.
I think they do continue to amp up the
Mhm.
scare factor, fog machines and all of that,
Yeah.
But anyway, so Amy says she feels sick, and that's a residual spirit. She feels fear, panic, confusion, and that's what the living people pick up on, and she has really bad nausea.
She also says sensitives would pick up on the emotions too, and the way there's just like waves of emotion coming at her and hitting her. So probably she might have felt a little overwhelmed.
So now Steve is talking to Mercedes, and they go into the living room where he sees that there's a piano in there. And she says that she's a musician, singer-songwriter, and that she sees clients here. And he's like, oh, are you a music teacher? And she says, no, she's a...
Get ready.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
Craniosacral myofascial energy healer clearer. So I had to pause.
Yeah. And Google.
Rewind. Write that down. Pause. And Google. Yes. So cranial sacral therapy and myofascial release is what I found. I found a website that offers this as a service. And it says cranial sacral therapy, otherwise known as CST, and myofascial release, MFR, is a system and systematic series of treatments which effectively alleviate symptoms of acute and chronic conditions. The practitioner gently and safely works with the spine and the skull and its cranial sutures. Sutures, that's stitches.
Stitches. I don't know why I'm doing this. This is what surgeons do.
Yeah. Diaphragms and fascia, the connective tissue layer throughout your body. CST with MFR can optimize movement of cerebral spinal fluid through the spinal cord, ease restrictions of nerve passages, and promote holistic well-being.
So I don't understand that.
No, I don't either.
That's what she does.
Oh, for them.
And Steve asked her, like, well, have you tried to get rid of this stuff? Have you tried anything on your own?
Yeah.
And she goes, yes, I've tried. I just can't do it.
Just can't.
I just can't.
Yep.
So she also mentions that in that area specifically, she feels like she's being watched. And it's a very creepy feeling. Steve asks, like, is it, like they're curious or... And she said, no, it's very creepy, which I'm going to interject here again because actually, nope, I'm going to hold that until we get to Joe. Okay. I've got something to say. Something to say. So now we're back with Amy. And she meets a 50, like late 50s woman who's really up in her face, like really invading her and getting all in her personal space. And she said she could have been an actress because she's way over the top and very, very dramatic.
Yeah, and she says that she has heart issues. So if you're sensing her, your heart could race and could have heart skipping beats and heart racing.
Lots of stuff with your heart.
Which I think is so interesting that so many of these things that happen to people are heart things, and so many people who die in these stories in the history are heart attacks. Yeah. I mean, everybody dies of your heart stopping. I mean, even if you're hit by a bus, you die when your heart stops. But yeah, to just have like that be the only thing that's your major thing.
It's really interesting.
It is.
Makes you wonder if there's a connection between dying of heart attack and being a ghost.
Yep. I wonder.
I'm going to do research.
So Mercedes, this is back Steve and Mercedes again. She says she feels possessed almost. And Steve asks her if she's taking any pills or you boozing? She says no, she's holistic. And I'm like, well, it's not really one or the other, I don't think. But
Okay, well, given what we how Joe acts when we meet Joe, I question whether he's holistic or not.
right. Yeah. Just because she is doesn't mean he is.
Yeah.
She feels like she doesn't have any control, but she feels like it doesn't want her here.
Mhm.
She says this is her second chance for a family, and all I could think of is, your first chance is still living in the cabin outside.
I know. That is the weirdest dynamic.
It's very strange.
Yeah. So then she starts crying and Steve hugs her. And
Oh,
God, I love you, Steve.
I know.
He's just so sweet.
I know. Yes.
Yeah. So then we go back to Amy.
Yep.
And she's really, really affected in this clip. Like she's really having a tough time. And they go into the basement and she says the male that she encountered at the start of the episode could jump you. And she said living people would feel like out of control and not themselves. And she said it could also make them sick.
Mm-hmm. I think Matt says to her, where do you want to go next? And she goes, outside. And they start going out. She opens the door and she goes, oh, this is great. This is even worse. Something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Oh, God. God.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
So now we're back with Steve and Mercedes, and they're in the bedroom. And she, there's a huge dream catcher on the wall. I was obsessed with dream catchers in middle school. Like I had necklaces, I had earrings. I was obsessed with them.
I liked them too. I had earrings that actually were made for me by, that was back when I was doing my blog, my music blog.
Mhm.
And so I knew a lot of artists, singer-songwriters. And there was a woman.
Mercedes?
I did not, no.
Damn it.
Every time I see somebody that says that they're a singer-songwriter and they're like my age, I'm like, oh my God, were you on my website? Did I listen to you back then? I did not know her.
Probably.
At least I don't think so. I mean, I looked at her music. I didn't listen to anything, but I looked at her stuff and I was like, I don't think I knew her back then, but wouldn't that be funny? But one of the musicians that actually lived in Minnesota at the time, she was a singer-songwriter, really kind of mystical type music, really pretty, really cool stuff. And I'm still friends with her on Facebook and everything, but she made me some Dreamcatcher earrings and sent them to me. And so I wear those a lot. And then I did have a Dreamcatcher on the wall too.
Yeah. I had really bad nightmares, still do. And so I would put dream catchers like on my daybed and yeah.
Did it help?
You know, it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to say if something helps because you're like, well, what could have been 10 times worse if I didn't have them. So
right. Yeah. I mean, I still have horrible nightmares, so, but I don't have a dream catcher.
Oh, maybe you should get some.
Yeah, I know it's not great. Yeah. So anyways, back to the show, which is why we're here.
Yeah. And she says her dream catchers don't help anymore.
Yeah. She said they used to.
Mm-hmm.
She has really bad nightmares where she gets picked up and thrown against the wall. And then she also feels like she's being held down on the bed. So which I wonder, like succubus type thing.
Yeah. You know, when she first said that, I was thinking sleep paralysis, you know, but that she said it felt like she was being held down with like pressure, like water pressure or air pressure holding her down. So I don't,
which we get into at the end with the reveal. So,
yeah. Yep.
She's not wrong.
Yep. So, she says she doesn't, this back to Amy now, she's there and she says she doesn't like it here. She feels a classic cowboy type guy here. Though when I heard her say that, I thought she said plastic cowboy.
This is where I need closed captions.
Yeah, that's why I have closed captions up. But I was writing, and so I didn't hear it. Or I didn't hear it right, obviously, and I didn't see it. And my friend Dave goes, it's classic, not plastic. So anyway, yep. And so he's this classic cowboy type, and he can shapeshift, and he turns into an octopus.
I don't like it.
I don't like that either. So she explains how he goes into, now this is you had noted in your notes how gross these descriptions are.
It's really gross.
She explains how this octopus cowboy goes into a woman while she's sleeping, and it goes into her spine area with its tentacles and wraps around her spine while she's laying. And Amy actually laid down in the bed.
Yeah, which I was just like,
I've never seen her do that before.
I mean, either.
And she said it eventually could lead to paralysis. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, it's disgusting.
So now we're with Steve and Joe. And I said they appear to be in some sort of garage type area.
Right.
So we're going back to our roots.
Yep. Going back to talking to the guy in the garage.
Yeah. And so I don't know if Joe's as holistic as she is, because then I wrote puff puff pass, because Joe, which I'm not against. I am all for that.
Right.
But yeah.
There's something going on.
He's very intense
with him.
He is very intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows, he thinks whatever it is, knows that he and Mercedes as a team would do amazing things.
Amazing things.
Because she's an amazing person.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I love that they love each other that much.
Yeah.
And as a partner, you should be enamored of your significant other.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. I feel like.
Well, and it feels like kind of a stretch, I think. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't say that, because I don't. Who's to say?
Yeah.
But he basically is saying, like, this entity knows that he and Mercedes together can do amazing things, including be a threat to
this entity.
The Octopus Cowboy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and who knows? Maybe. But it kind of seems like the Octopus Cowboy is winning this right now. So.
Yeah. Mercedes and Joe 0, Octopus Cowboy 1.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And listen, he says he said some awful things to Mercedes, which I don't know. Like, part of me is like, yeah, especially because Amy says it can jump you. But the other part of me is like, could he just be using that as an excuse to be a total dick? You know, like, and again, who's to say? We don't know.
Yeah.
You know, their marriage.
I mean, he seemed like a pretty cool guy. I think
he did. You know, I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just that part. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. So this guy's energy is just mean and evil. And Joe says that they attack him, and it feels like it's trying to reach in and grab his heart and touch his heart. And so he has heart issues, which is what Amy was just experiencing them before. And Steve's like, man, you got to go get a stress test. You know, we're of that age.
Yeah.
And I'm like, same Steve.
Yeah. I will say, again, this is what I was going to say. Energy is evil. When I had Frank, I thought it was evil.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand it. And it was literally the opposite of evil. Like, I reminded him, Frank is the ghost that followed me for like 10 years, in case anybody's new to this area. Yeah. And so he literally followed me and kept me safe, I think, from a couple of different scenarios. Sorry, Mom, I know you're listening. But he kept me safe because so I had a team of investigators come in, and one of them was medium, and so she was talking to Frank, and I reminded him of his sister, and so that's why he hung around me. And I think so. You know, that saying, we fear what we don't understand. I'm not saying it's not evil, but I'm just saying a lot of people think things are evil when they're really not, just because we don't understand them.
Yes, just because it's out of the norm.
Yeah, and it's not. You know, I couldn't understand Frank. It was this crazy guy who walked out of a bathroom and stared at me at the end of the bed, and then I blinked and he vanished. Like, yeah, you're gonna think that's creepy.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was not great.
Yeah.
So.
I like how you said when Steve is talking to Joe about what he wants to do, and if they can't get rid of it, and he says something like, I'm going to get the HE-double-L out of here. So
Yep.
he said that he said HE-double-L.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what it was like, get the hell out of here or something like that.
Because Steve asked what if Amy says you have to leave.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to pack them and get the HE-double-L out of here. Like, you can't swear.
They're just going to beep it. You can swear all you want.
Yeah, you can. Steve just said shit fucking happens or whatever.
Yeah.
Amy says fuck all the time. It's okay, Joe. They'll bleep it.
It's okay, Joe. Yeah. So, back to Amy. Are we done with that, or is there anything else we need to touch on? Okay. So back to Amy. She's still seeing the cowboy guy. He reached in and grabbed her neck, and then he was trying to hide. She said he went up in the corner of the wall and the ceiling, and he was getting smaller and smaller. And she says she thinks he might be feeling guilty because he's trying to make himself small. And then just after she said he can get physical with the living, he grabbed her neck, like her spinal cord or whatever.
His testicles.
And she doesn't know why he got mad because she wasn't like dissing him or anything.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What'd I do?" Yeah. And then I just have to say in Megan's notes, she wrote, he can get physical. Physical. Isn't that an Olivia Newton-John song?
Yeah. Physical.
So then I had to go look at the video, and
you did. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll post a picture in the video. I loved her so much when I was a kid. I had all her albums.
I really loved her in Grease.
Yeah.
I used to rent it from the library so much. Like every time we go to the library, I'd rent Grease. And so eventually my mom bought it for me on VHS.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I was obsessed with that too.
Yeah, it was a good one. So now everybody buckle up because we're meeting Mark, who's the character. So Mark, he's got long hair. He's got like a pink paisley handkerchief around his neck. And was it a rainbow shirt or rainbow suspenders?
Rainbow suspenders. A la Mark from Ork.
Yes. There it is. And aggressively rubbing Tristan's back the entire interview. Like
so hard that the kid is like swaying back and forth.
I didn't even catch that the first time. So I don't know how.
And that's what Kari was talking about, which is like, you got to do this one, the one with the dad being weird with his son.
And I mean, maybe like you wrote in your notes, maybe Tristan is on the spectrum in some way and that helps him.
Yeah, that calms him or whatever.
But it was,
It was weird to watch. It was uncomfortable, I felt.
Yeah. And then Mark said, my being here has had a positive effect on everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really, like, dude?
He thinks that he and Tristan being on the property has helped the paranormal behavior go down.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Is this before or after he talks about how he and his son are sleeping in combat conditions?
Right. Yeah, they alternate sleeping.
They sleep in shifts.
Yep. And when he first said we sleep opposite, my friend Dave goes, ew, because I think he thought they were like sleeping in the same bed with their heads on the and that's what I pictured at first.
Yeah. Get your stanky ass feet over my head. That is, I hate feet so much. And that is so gross.
Can you imagine?
Oh, God. Oh,
that's so nasty.
No, thank you.
So Mark has seen the shadow figure. This 6'5" shadow figure that looks like a black hole. And then the kid starts talking about how he has panic attacks, and then dad interrupts him and says, yeah, he doesn't feel safe, and then explains how they have to sleep opposite schedules. And Steve's like, that's combat conditions. That's, military shit.
Mark is just a very domineering personality. And interrupting Tristan, me being here has had a positive effect on everything. It's just very, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just not a Mark fan.
Yeah. Yeah. He was odd.
He is an odd duck.
For sure.
So then Amy, she goes into the cabin where Mark and Tristan are staying, and she says there's a lot of chaos here. She said there's a living person, a male living person who's very, very stressed, scattered, confused. She said the living energy in here is not good, and the structure is really absorbing a lot of it, absorbing the chaos.
Mhm.
And she can tell that someone has seen shadow people, which reminds me of the episode we covered where the shadow people were in the forest.
Oh,
Remember that one?
yes.
Where they were, again, out in the middle of nowhere,
Yep.
and they would see shadow people in the forest. So it
Yep.
kind of reminded me of that episode.
That was the same one with the Klan people, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yep. In the white.
Yep.
Like the white paper people.
Yep.
That was
That's right.
Scary.
The people in the paper people in the trees.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Scary.
That was scary. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that was a scary one. Yeah, Amy says she feels chaotic in the mind.
Same.
Yeah, and the shadow people are coming out of the bushes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Creep.
Yep.
Okay, so, now Steve is in the car, and he's telling us about how safe the city of Marana is. However, there is a double homicide that took place right near the home.
Mhm.
So he goes to meet Police Chief Terry Rosema. They never said his name out loud, so I don't know how
they
to
don't.
pronounce it.
Mhm.
And the victims were Freeland Huff and his wife Louise. And on June 14th, 1957, Paul Whalen, who was a handyman, drove his truck right up to their home, honked the horn a few times. Huff comes out, and Whalen shoots him.
Mhm.
And it said they
Naturally.
think that Huff owed Whalen money. And Megan, you noted that it was $600,
Yep.
and that $600 in 1957 is equivalent to $6,241,
In
right?
2022 money. Yep.
In 2022 money, yeah.
Yeah. So $6,200.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
A lot of money. Not enough to kill somebody.
I was just gonna say I don't know if it's enough to shoot someone.
Well, because like I had said to my friend Dave, dead men tell no tales. They also can't pay you back.
Right.
So,
But here's the weird thing. So Louise comes out to be like, hey, what's going on? So Whalen shoots her. She runs, and he runs after her and shoots her again. So I don't know. I mean, maybe he shot her to keep from telling that it was him. But he chased her down.
yes, he did.
So that sort of makes me think that maybe there's more to it than just owing money.
Yep. I believe there is. I did some research on this, and if we have time to go over it tonight, we'll go over it afterwards, because it's kind of a lot, but it's super interesting.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can do that as a patron bonus extra, recorded at a different time if we need to get it going. But anyway, it's interesting, and yes, it was not just money. I believe there was more. Yeah, there's a lot more. So then Whalen took the bodies, threw them in his trunk, and took them out to a bridge near the Santa Cruz River, and he placed the bodies in a cross formation and said it was an order from God, that he heard God told him to kill these two.
I'm going to go ahead and probably say no to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was indicted and sentenced to life in the Arizona State Hospital. I will say in my research, I noted that was it a year, or a month, several months later, he escaped.
He got free.
But they caught him. They caught him
good.
pretty soon. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And then he died there in the hospital in 2010 at the age of 83.
Good.
Yep.
So then she walks in. We're back with Amy, and she walks into a room that looks like an art room. And she said the guy who likes to jump people is in this room, and she feels eye pain, loss of control of her body, feels like her nose is broken, and the man is confused about what's happening. There was some kind of altercation, and he died from it. And she said she's seen a lot of blood. So this is, obviously where Whalen killed
Freeland
Huff. Yeah.
Yep. She said he doesn't know he's dead. Or he doesn't really understand what happened.
Maybe it took him a while to because he said, she said the man is confused about what's happening. So maybe he didn't, it took him a while to figure out that he was dead.
Yeah.
You know, like that one ghost where he was killed so fast that he didn't know he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe it was something like that. You know, you open the door and boom, you're dead.
Yeah, you don't expect, yeah.
You don't expect it. So yeah, maybe it took him a while to figure out that he was dead.
Yeah. It's so
So I
weird.
don't know.
That's so weird that, like, every once in a while, especially if I'm, like, driving and I have a close call, like somebody almost, you know,
Mhm.
bumps into me or whatever. And then the whole rest of the drive, I'm like, what if I died just now and I don't
Mhm.
know it? What if
Yeah.
that was an
Oh, I've
accident?
never had that thought before.
Oh, really? Wow. You're welcome. Now you will.
Thank you. You're unlocked.
Unlocking fears every week. Yeah, I do it all the time. I just did
Unlocking
it.
fears.
I just did it today when I was driving home from my mom's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that was weird. I wonder if I'm actually alive or
dead.
if I mean,
Great. Thank you.
welcome. Okay, so Steve heads over to meet Kathy Lowling. She's a historian. The original owners were the Garcias. Francisco Garcia is the father. They were ranchers. They had 10 kids and 33 grandkids. And Steve is like,
Steve goes, I got a headache thinking about 10 kids. And I said, fucking same.
yep.
I can't think about more than one.
No, I know.
People,
I can't even think of one.
woof. No, thank you.
Well, and then I said, I had to pause and explain this joke to Dave, but I said that maybe they should have bought a nursing home in Wisconsin and put up their 10 kids and 33 grandchildren.
Don't heat the 4th floor or the 3rd floor.
Yeah. Just bring a coat because it's fucking cold up there.
It's fucking cold. Yeah.
It is Wisconsin.
We don't heat the 3rd floor.
Right.
Nobody goes up here.
Right.
Yeah, because it's fucking cold.
Yeah.
That's why they don't go up there.
Ghosts don't care if it's cold.
Oh, sure, no.
So there were a couple of freak accidents that happened to this family. One of them was in 1930, his son Ramon and a friend were riding out in a storm and they were both found dead. Horses were dead. The reins were still in their hands.
Horses.
I know.
That's what I wrote.
And the cause of death was struck by lightning. And
I mean, if people are struck by lightning, wouldn't there be some sort of like evidence of that? Like chars?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Something?
Yeah. And I imagine that their heart stops. So we're back to the heart thing again.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like that's a little fishy to me. But
seems, yeah, I don't know. With the reins still in their hands.
Yeah.
Yes. And can two people and two horses be struck by lightning at the same time? Like one streak of lightning? Or were there multiple streaks of lightning, one for each?
Okay, but I feel like multiple streaks of lightning is like almost impossible.
Exactly. Lightning does not strike the exact same place more than once.
And not at the same exact time.
Right.
So
yeah, that's a little
poking holes in this story.
There's something weird there going on.
The story is like Swiss cheese full of holes.
Yep. Well, the second incident was in November 24th, 1961. So 31 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Francisco's son Armando, his kids, Armando Jr. and Linda were playing.
Linda,
listen.
Linda, listen.
Oh, that kid was so cute.
He was adorable.
So they were playing in a man-made cave and it collapsed. And so it was Armando Jr., Linda, and then their two cousins. And the two cousins died in the accident. His kids survived, but one of them got hurt. One of them wasn't hurt at all.
Yeah.
I did find more on this too, but not enough to really go into. It wasn't a big deal. I mean, the story was a big deal, but I didn't find anything like strange or anything like that.
Like paranormal.
Yeah.
So then we go back to Amy and she says the cowboy octopus, he used to own the land. It's all his. He's very angry and sad. And she said he is capable of taking someone over very easily. She said he has no good intentions and she's worried about that. That could become a problem, which I agree. Like people with good intentions, they're never up to good things.
Right. So now Steve's at a museum and he's searching through the records, digging through
the archives.
And he finds a story about a young pilot who was killed in a plane crash. killed in a plane crash close to the house. So he gets back in the caddy, heads over to talk to local journalists. This is when we get the ring shot. The guy's name is David Layton, and they meet at an airport. Airporn. What is
Amy?
that?
Amy, I'm not judging you. Keep it out of the podcast.
Airporn.
Correct.
Oh
Airporn.
my.
Yeah. Gives new meaning to the word Mile High Club.
Yeah. So they meet at
all about the showmanship in this. Like, we're at an airport. It's very, very showy.
Yeah.
Creaking doors.
Yep. So he says the first crash was in 1948, small plane flown by a student pilot named Robert Rome. Witnesses saw the plane go crazy and then fall and crash. And I do believe they said that he was flying too low and too fast.
Yeah.
And then the second one was an Air Force helicopter. This was in 89.
Mm-hmm.
And they were on a training mission. They were on their way to a training mission. They were flying over the property and it just exploded, which is bizarre to me.
This is why we don't fly. If God wanted us to fly, we have wings. I just wrote that song. You're welcome. Feel free to use it.
Yeah, maybe we can.
I don't like flying. In case you didn't know, I was flying. So when I lived in the Middle East, I had to fly. Obviously,
you didn't swim.
I didn't swim or walk or bike. Whoopsies. And so I was getting ready to take off, and I don't remember if I was going to or from where I was going. All planes are the same. And I was gripping the armrests and like rocking and crying. I was so terrified. And this guy like reaches and pats me on the shoulder from like kitty corner back, and he goes, "Are you on drugs?" I said,
you were like, I wish.
I know. I was like, I'd be happier.
That would help.
I said, no, I'm just really, really scared of flying. And it didn't help that my ex-husband, who was training to be a pilot, told me that once a plane reaches a certain speed on the runway, it can't slow down. So if it runs out of runway, you're kind of screwed because you can't slow down. So you either have to pull up or go off the runway and fucking crash.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, why would you tell me that?
No.
Because he was a jerk.
That's why he's your ex.
That's why, among many reasons.
And he doesn't live in a cabin in your property.
He does not live in a cabin on my property for 6 months, aggressively rubbing my son's face.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, moving on. So, now Amy they show Amy again, and she said that death is here. Death is very here. And she says that has something to do with someone who died, and either they didn't know it or haven't accepted it yet. She feels sick again. She said dead guys all dress the same, and people would hear yelling and screaming. I assume that is the 15 military men who were all killed.
Who were killed
in the plane.
Explosion. Yep.
Mm-hmm. She said many died from atrocities here, and she sees bone.
Don't like that.
So then there's the sketch, which we don't, there's Amy, is this what you saw? Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I saw.
Yeah. Very. So Amy first mentions the residual energy that she talked about when she first got to the house. She sees living people fighting, sudden onset of anger. And so then Steve mentions Joe's anger. Joe says it's just not his character, and he feels really out of body when he has these anger moments.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy's like, yep, that's it.
Yep. And then she says when she walked into the cabin, she was overwhelmed and slammed with chaos from a male living person. She said she knows this male has seen things, including shadow figures. So then Steve tells her that the ex-Mark and the son live there. And then Joe says he's grown to love them both. What?
Yeah.
We didn't need that, Joe. Sometimes we can keep thoughts to ourselves.
Well, I think he was trying to say, like, it doesn't bother me that my wife's ex lives there because I like him.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
So Amy thinks that she's sensing Mark as opposed to Tristan. And then Steve goes, well, Mark definitely has that 1,000-yard stare going on. I can tell you that.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
And they show Joe and he's nodding. He's like, yep.
He's like, yeah,
you do.
Steve, you go ahead and hit that nail in the head. Steve, I love you. Be my friend.
Oh, I know. He's so funny. So Amy then talks about the first dead person. She saw this woman that was in her 50s who was really in your face. She said she could affect the living. She's making you feel like you're being watched, feeling like someone's in your space. And Mercedes says that she feels that a lot. Amy says it feels like your heart's jumping and missing a beat. And then Joe explains how he has those heart issues and feels like fingers are pulling at his heart. Oh, that's so gross.
It's just the weirdest feeling. So then the next person that she said was a male that had some physical trauma. She said he was heading out the back door and she was in his body. She got that he was in altercation and felt him dying. Then Steve talks about the double homicide and Amy's like, what the fuck? Did he know them? And Steve says, yeah, Huff may have owed him money. To which Amy wrote, dead men not only tell no tales, they pay no bills. Yeah. That needs to go on a pillow. Somebody crochet that. Needlepoint.
Yep. I mean, if someone owes you money, murder them?
Yeah, no.
I mean, I kind of get it in like mobster world where you do it to make a point so that nobody else who owes you money will think about skipping out.
Yeah.
But this, it's, I don't know. It doesn't seem like,
it's not smart business.
It's not. And also little spoiler alert, the stuff that I found out about this Freeland Huff, they were rich.
Yeah.
If he owed him $600, there's no reason he wouldn't have paid him back.
Yeah.
So that's not it.
No. Given that he chased Louise down, there's more to this story than they're talking about. And then Joe says he almost bought the property next door. No. You got money thrown around too.
Yep.
So then Steve asks what this entity can do to the living, and Amy said he can jump the living, make them feel out of control. When he leaves you, you feel ill and drained. And she said he really likes the shop.
Mm-hmm. Mercedes explains how Joe gets disoriented when he goes out to a shop. He just walks in circles. He can't focus on anything. And Amy's like, yep.
And that is so creepy to me. Like, can you imagine looking out the window and seeing Greg just walking in circles? No, thank you.
No, that's creepy.
No, thank you. I don't like it.
Yeah. So Mercedes says she feels confused and stuff too. And Steve asks, is this the guy that's causing them to fight? And Amy says, no, not this guy. That would be the residual person that she talked about earlier.
Yeah. So now we get to the real problem. And Amy calls him a viable threat. And so she said he was presenting himself as a heroic cowboy, then turned into a dark gray octopus. And so he also told Amy that he used to own the land, at least 100 acres. So we think it's most likely Francisco Garcia.
Yep.
And she said he's very angry, but he's also very sad. And then Steve talks about Garcia and his reasons for anger and sadness. His son being struck by lightning, ? And the collapse of the cave. And then Joe says, there's been an unusual amount of death on this freaking property. Yeah.
And Steve didn't even tell them about the 2 crashes, the aircraft crashes. He didn't even mention that. Or if he did, it didn't make it to the final cut of the show.
Yeah.
So then Amy explains how when she walked into the master bedroom, and note on that, I learned from TikTok.
Yep.
We're not supposed to use that term.
I didn't even know.
Never even dawned on me until she said.
The whole series this girl is doing about phrases that we use that have racist undertones.
Yep.
And never.
And I was like, what's wrong with master?
But if you think about it,
all I had to do is like repeat it to myself, and I was like, oh shit.
There it is. Yeah. So the main bedroom.
The main bedroom. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said she felt extremely panicked and scared, and he was sitting there laughing at her.
Oh, God, it's just so creepy.
I know. He's the one giving the nightmares to Mercedes, and he can get physical.
Physical.
She tells how he pulled the muscle in her neck and snapped it.
No, thank you.
Nope.
So then Joe tells Amy about the shadow man that he calls him. He said he walked right up to him and told him he was not welcome here. Mercedes talks about her nightmares and how it throws her in the dream. And she then also says how she can't move in the bed and the pressure that she feels while she's in the bed.
Yeah. And then Amy says, well, I had a sketch done. And she says it's of what she sees it doing to a female in the bed. And Joe just is like, oh, boy. It was almost comical the way he was like, oh, boy.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Faceplant.
Gee.
Steve pulls out the sketch, and I said to my friend, Dave, he's going to say, I don't even want to show you guys this. But he didn't. He didn't say jack. He just set it down.
Yeah.
And Mercedes said, oh, my God.
This is one of the creepier sketches.
It was creepy. It wasn't like, I mean, like, there are some sketches that are just creepy because the artwork is creepy.
Yeah.
The artwork was not necessarily creepy in this one. It's pretty simplistic.
Yeah.
But the picture is, yeah.
Also, it looks like a squid, not an octopus.
Yeah. That's good. So, yeah. So, I'll put that, in on the socials and stuff. But yeah, it's, and you'll see it if you're watching the video, you'll see it right here.
Yeah. Hi.
As the TikTok people do. Right here.
I could be TikTok famous.
Yeah. We should really get a TikTok up and running.
Oh my God. We would be the best TikTokers.
I know. I just don't like to. I'm okay with having myself on camera in Zoom for some reason, but I don't. Like, anytime I look at myself on my phone, I look like I don't.
I know. I look like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Jabba,
yeah.
Jabba's Hutt.
This of the Jabba. Jabba. Yeah. I got the Jabba chin.
Jabba chin.
Yep.
What else?
Oh, boy. So, okay.
Anywho.
So, Amy says it's going inside her body and it's wrapping around her spine and blah, could lead to paralysis. And that's when Mercedes says, I told you it was trying to kill me. And Joe says, you did, I'm sorry. And I felt really bad for him.
Yeah.
So now we play Should I Stay or Should I Go? And
Should I stay or should I go?
Amy says that what we have here is bad land and no structure should be on this property. And the structures are absorbing all these negative events that have happened. She doesn't think they should stay, and she hopes that the ex and the son will go as well.
Yeah. And then Joe's like, I can't sell this. I'm too ethical.
Yeah.
I couldn't sell this to somebody. And then Amy's like, well, I mean, you could sell it to somebody who's like not sensitive like Steve.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, to be fair. And then it's all about disclosure. And then Joe says, haunted residence for sale in Marana.
Haunted residence, like it's a billboard. Haunted residence for sale in Marana. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. So then we get to the update. And it was 6 weeks later, they do a video and they haven't decided yet if they're going to stay or if they should go. Which it's like, okay, you said you were going to go, you're ready to go. And now you're like, no, I don't know if I should stay or should I go?
Yeah.
They did look a little bit happier in the clip.
Yeah.
So that's good.
They did. They were all smiles.
Yeah. So then we've got an update from Mercedes' website.
Yes, I found her. I Googled. I used the Googs and I found her. And I'll post a link to her website. But
November of 2019 was when the Dead Files got to the property. The show aired in 2020, and the Reverend Bill Bean helped them in 2021, starting in January with the first exorcism, and there were a total of 3. God won, to which Greg said, the first 2 exorcisms, God didn't win. He only won 1 out of 3, not great odds.
Yeah.
Greg. You know what? I didn't pass my driver's test the first time. It took
I didn't
times, Greg. So
yeah.
Just because something fails the first time doesn't mean it's bad.
Also, I was thinking about this too, in that maybe there were 3, maybe there was 1 exorcism for each being.
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah.
So maybe God did win. There were just multiple rounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know.
I do like Greg, everybody. I don't.
I do too. I just like making fun of him.
Oh, he's an easy target. So
yep,
that's the show.
That's the show.
Easy. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And like I said, I do have a bunch of stuff about the Huff murders.
Can we do that in another episode?
Yeah, we can do that another time. Because it's 9:42.
Yeah, it's like an hour and 42 minutes past my bedtime.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for listening.
Yep. Thanks for joining us for our return to
season 2.
Season 2.
And yes, please shoot out any requests that you have, shows, episodes. Nothing too scary though, you guys. I'm a really big baby.
I know, but I want you to watch a Holzer file. I'll try and find one that's not so scary for you to watch.
Okay.
You know, honestly, it's the intro that scares me the most.
Is it like the intro of Evil Lives Here?
It's that scary.
I have to fast forward.
Oh my God, I love that intro.
I love it, but I can't. I have to skip it. It's so scary.
Yeah.
It's the creepy music. And I can't.
I love it. Yeah. Holzer Files is scary like that.
Okay. Yeah. I don't like the scary stuff. Even though I watched like 4 paranormal activities and cried. I was so scared.
Those freak me out.
They were so scary.
Yeah.
John's like, this is so fake. I'm like, you have no imagination.
I know.
But
Greg's the same way.
He doesn't believe
the other show I think I told you that I was enjoying is and you watched one of them, I think. Ghost Brothers.
Yeah, I did. Oh, they were
cute.
funny. Yeah.
Marcus, look at his wife calls. I can't talk right now. I'm with a prostitute. I mean, she's a ghost, and you can hear his wife going, "What?"
You gotta know, like she's gotta know.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know that he's like
I'm sure.
Well,
they're hilarious. I love it. I watched a whole bunch of those when my friend Dave was here.
They're really funny.
Yeah.
Dave was really in this episode. Like, shout out Dave. He made a lot of cameos.
Yeah. I'll have to tell him to listen.
Yeah, tell him to listen. Hey Dave, what's up?
Okay, friends, right. We have to go to bed. So thanks.
Thank you so much. Until next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a suggestion for which episode of the Dead Files we should cover next, or if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when the activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media and is part of the independent Collected Sounds Podcast Network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.